Hello friends, Chef Kunal again. Hope you are all fine and safe. Today I have decided to discuss a very basic thing, that is what are the different parts of a wheat grain and what are the things we get from wheat and the balance between flour and fat relationship. We will start the class. The structure of a wheat grain. See the structure? This is a wheat grain. Outer covering is called husk, which is not used for human food, it is used for cattle food. So after husk is removed, we get a bran, which is slightly reddish in color. Bran is very good source of good fat, minerals. Then endosperm, the maximum part of a wheat grain. It is starch, mainly rich in starch. And there is a germ. From this area, the new sprout comes out. Germ is rich in protein, good fat and minerals. When the whole grain is crushed, we get wheat. That means atta, the whole wheat flour. When the bran and germ is removed, only the endosperm is taken, we get maida or refined flour. So you can understand that a maida nutritionally is less rich than atta because we are losing on minerals and good fat. Now another thing is this endosperm, this is rich in starch and gluten protein. How gluten is formed? In flour we have two protein, one is glutenin and one is gliadin. They are not elastic in nature, they are separated. When I add moisture and knead them properly, moisture will go to each and glutenin and gliadin, they will be converted to gluten. And how will understand the gluten is formed? By seeing the elasticity. So, where we need elasticity, we will allow the gluten to form, and where you don't want elasticity, we will not allow the gluten to form. Understood? What are the usual very popular dish we make from flour? We make bread, we make cake, we make cookies, we make many other things, but these three are very popular and common. But see, all three are made of flour. I'm talking about maida, refined flour. But the texture is different. Here it is elastic, here it is no elastic, it is soft, and here it is crumbly. So from the same flour, we are getting three different texture. Now in case of bread, it is elastic. So we need the help of gluten. We want the gluten to form. This way the gluten will be formed when we have kneaded, we have added our moistures and kneaded the dough very nicely. Then what will happen? I told you earlier that all glutenin and gliadin will be converted to gluten and they will form a chain. In case of cake, we don't want gluten formation, then the cake will be chewy. So what do? We fat, sugar and egg, we beat fast, nicely, fast, fat and sugar, cream them, then add egg. Lastly what you do, we add the same flour, maybe strength is a little bit less, and we mix it, put it in baking tray and give for baking. We don't give time to get the moisture of sugar and fat to enter inside the flour and to make the gluten. If you keep it for longer time, your cake will be a different cake. In case of cookies, it is different. What do? We don't take any risk. What do? In the normal flour, we add 50% fat and we rub them nicely with our fingertips till all the fat is nicely mixed in that flour. Then we add moisture, either in the form of milk or juice or whatever. And then what happens actually, see, these are all individual glutenin and gliadin particles. Gluten is not yet formed because you have not added any moisture. And when you rub the fat, there will be a coating around. Now we are adding some liquid, it may be egg, it may be milk, and we are mixing the mixture of cookies. So naturally gluten will be formed, but when the chain will be formed, each and every glutenin and gliadin or gluten is surrounded by fat. So when you are giving heat in the oven, the fat melts and all this chain breaks. Understood?